brain glitch. I want you to be honest with me for a second. Have you ever had that moment? Maybe it was 3 a.m., the room was pitch black, silence ringing in your ears, and suddenly, out of nowhere, your brain glitches. You stop thinking about your bills, you stop thinking about your relationship, and you get hit with a thought so terrifying it makes your chest tighten and your palms sweat. The thought is, one day I am going to close my eyes and I will never, ever open them again. And it's not the dying part that scares you. It's not the pain. It's the forever. It's the idea that the world will keep spinning, suns will rise, empires will fall, new movies will come out, your family will eat dinner, and you will be gone. Not watching from a cloud, not existing as a ghost, just deleted. Zero. The screen goes black, and there is no audience left to watch the darkness. If you've ever felt that specific stomach-churning drop, that psychological vertigo where you try to imagine nothingness and your brain violently rejects it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is what psychologists call thanatophobia, but the people on r/existentialism call it the terror of the void. It is the crippling fear that you, this complex, feeling, thinking, main character of the universe, is temporary. And if you are temporary, what is the point of doing anything? Why build a career? Why fall in love? Why read a book if it all gets formatted like a hard drive in the end? Most people run from this thought. They scroll TikTok, they drink, they distract themselves until the feeling passes. But today, we are not going to run. We are going to stare directly into that void. And I'm going to show you how modern Stoicism, combined with some radical shifts in perspective, can take that paralyzing terror and turn it into the most powerful fuel for living you have ever possessed. By the end of this conversation, you won't just accept non-existence. You might actually find peace in it. Let's talk about the void. Part 1. The ego's tantrum. Why your brain can't process nothing. Why is this fear so specific? Why does it feel like a glitch in the matrix? Because your brain is designed to survive. Every neuron in your head is wired to keep you continuing. Your brain literally cannot compute its own non-existence. Try it right now. Try to imagine nothing. What do you see? A dark room? Empty space? Blackness? That's not nothing. That's something. That is you floating in a dark room. You cannot imagine not being there because you are the one doing the imagining. This is why the fear is so crippling. It's a paradox. Your ego, the voice in your head that says, I am, is screaming because it realizes it has an expiration date. I was reading a thread on r/existentialism recently where a user described it perfectly. They said, it feels like I'm standing on a trapdoor that could open at any second, and below me is an eternity of silence. This is what creates the panic attack. It's the ego's tantrum. The ego believes it is the center of the universe. To the ego, the idea that the universe can exist without it is an insult. It feels wrong. It feels unfair. I have all these memories. I have all these feelings. I know the smell of rain. I know the taste of coffee. How can you just throw that away? How can that just vanish? This is the tragedy of the human condition. We are gods with an expiration date. We have the imagination to conceive of eternity, but the biology of a mayfly. But here is the first Stoic shift we need to make, and it comes from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He didn't panic about this. He looked at it with cold, clinical precision. He said, nature does not do anything that is not good for itself. He realized that your deletion isn't a mistake. It's not a punishment. It's the mechanism that allows life to function. Think about it physically. If no one ever died, if no one ever ceased to exist, the world would be a stagnant, overcrowded hellscape. Your non-existence is the price of admission for the next generation's existence. But that's logical, and right now, you're feeling emotional. Logic doesn't stop the 3 a.m. panic. So let's go deeper. Let's look at the symmetry argument.
Part 2. The symmetry argument. The Lucretius cure. There is a cure for this fear. It's a mental tool developed by a philosopher named Lucretius, and it is arguably the most powerful weapon against the fear of the void. It's called the symmetry of non-existence. Here's the question I want to ask you. Did you suffer in the year 1800? Think about it. Where were you in 1750? Where were you during the dinosaurs? Where were you when the pyramids were being built? You weren't there. You didn't exist. Was it dark? Was it scary? Were you floating in a black void screaming, "Let me out"? No. It was nothing. It was effortless. It was peaceful. You weren't bored. You weren't sad. You just weren't. Lucretius argues that the time after your death is exactly the same as the time before your birth. You have already experienced an eternity of non-existence. You came from the void. You spent 13.8 billion years in the void before you were born, and you handled it perfectly. So why are you terrified of returning to the state you were in for billions of years? The fear comes from a trick of the mind. You are projecting your current desire to live into a future where you won't be there to have desires. You are imagining that you will be dead, but still wishing you were alive. But you won't be there to wish. Epicurus summed this up in one of the most famous and misunderstood quotes in history. Where I am, death is not. Where death is, I am not. Read that again. It means that you and the void can never be in the same room. As long as you are conscious enough to be scared, you are alive. The moment death arrives, you are gone. You will never, ever experience death. You will only experience life. The lights don't go out, the movie just ends, and the screen doesn't suffer. Does this remove the sadness? No. We love life. We want to stay. But it should remove the terror. You are not walking into a torture chamber. You are simply returning to the state you're in before you were born. You are going home.
Part 3. The FOMO of eternity. Fear of missing out. But I know what you're thinking. Okay, sure, it won't hurt. But I'm going to miss everything. I'm going to miss the future. I'm going to miss my grandkids. I'm going to miss seeing what happens to humanity. This is the cosmic FOMO. This is the fear that the party is going to keep going and you're being kicked out by the bouncer. Let's look at this through the lens of modern Stoicism. Seneca, the great Stoic writer, wrote a book called On the Shortness of Life. And he has a brutal truth for you. He says, life is long enough if you know how to use it. The problem isn't that we don't have enough time. The problem is that we waste the time we have worrying about the time we don't have. Imagine you're at a delicious banquet. You are eating the best meal of your life. The wine is perfect, the conversation is great, but instead of enjoying the food, you spend the entire dinner crying because the restaurant is going to close in 3 hours. You ruin the meal you have because you're obsessed with the meal you won't have. This is what the fear of non-existence does to you. It robs you of the present moment. If you lived for 1,000 years, would it be enough? If you lived for 10,000 years, eventually you would see everything. you would feel everything, and eventually, existence would become a prison. There is a beauty in the finitude. The fact that the party ends is what makes the party special. If you had infinite time with your partner, you wouldn't cherish this specific Tuesday night. You'd say, I have a billion more Tuesdays. But you don't. You have a limited number, and that limit is what gives the moment its value. Scarcity creates value. Your life is scarce. Therefore, it is valuable. If you were immortal, you would be worthless. You would be infinite inventory. The Stoics tell us to embrace the limit, to look at the sun setting and say, I might not see this again. Not to be sad, but to be awake.
Part 4. You are not a thing, you are a process. Let's get a little scientific and a little metaphysical, because this perspective shift hits hard. Part of the fear of non-existence comes from the idea that you are a solid object, a soul in a body, and that death destroys the object. But Stoicism and modern physics agree on something. You are not a thing, you are a process. Think of a wave in the ocean. You see the wave, it rises up, it has a shape, it has power, it crashes onto the shore. And then it's gone. Did the wave die? Did the water disappear? No, the water just returned to the ocean. The wave was just a temporary behavior of the water. You are a wave. You are a temporary gathering of atoms, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, borrowed from the earth and the stars. For a brief moment, the universe has come together to form you. It has eyes to see itself. It has a heart to feel itself. And when you die, you don't go anywhere. The atoms that make you up just loosen their grip. They return to the cycle. Marcus Aurelius wrote beautifully about this. He visualized death not as a door slamming shut, but as a reintegration. He said, pass through this brief patch of time in harmony with nature and come to your rest gracefully, just as an olive falls when it is ripe, blessing the earth that bore it and grateful to the tree that gave it growth. Stop viewing yourself as a separate entity fighting against the universe. You are the universe briefly experiencing itself as a human. When you cease to exist as John or Sarah, you continue to exist as the earth, the grass, the wind. I know. I don't want to be grass. I want to be me. But that demand, that need to be this specific ego forever, is the source of your suffering. The modern Stoic practices amor fati, love of fate. It means loving the cycle, loving the fact that you are the olive that ripens and falls. Because if the olive didn't fall, the tree couldn't grow.
Part 5. Using the fear, the memento mori protocol. So how do we take this crippling fear and turn it into a superpower? We stop trying to banish the fear and we start using it as a compass. This is the concept of memento mori. Remember, you must die. But we are going to upgrade it for the modern existentialist. Most people live in a someday mindset. Someday I'll write that book. Someday I'll tell her I love her. Someday I'll travel. They think they have infinite time. You, my friend, you have the gift of terror. You know the truth. You know the void is waiting. So you don't have the luxury of someday. When you are terrified of non-existence, every sensation becomes a miracle. Next time you drink a cup of coffee, I want you to really drink it. Feel the warmth. Taste the bitterness. Realize that the ability to taste coffee is a temporary, miraculous glitch in the universe. Next time you hug your mother or your child or your partner, hold them a little too long.
Feel their heartbeat. Realize that this right here is the victory. You are winning. The universe is mostly dead. It's mostly cold, empty vacuum. But right here, right now, against all statistical odds, you are alive. You are conscious. You are feeling. You have already won the lottery. Why are you crying that you can't keep the winnings forever? You get to spend them now. The fear of the void shouldn't paralyze you. It should electrify you. It should make you intolerant of boredom, intolerant of drama, intolerant of doing things you hate. If you truly believe that this is it, that there is no sequel, no afterlife, just the void, then how dare you spend this life being miserable? How dare you spend it doom scrolling? How dare you spend it worrying about what people think? Those people are going to the void too. Their opinions don't matter. Your happiness matters. Your experience matters. The void is the ultimate permission slip. It tells you nothing matters in the end, so everything matters right now.
The end point, leaving the party. Let's wrap this up with a final image. I want you to imagine life as a party, a really, really good house party. There are two types of guests. Guest A forgets that the party has to end. They get drunk, they start fights, they complain about the music, and when the host finally turns on the lights and says, "Okay, everyone, time to go," Guest A screams. They grab the door frame, they cry, they have to be dragged out by security, kicking and screaming. Guest B knows the party has an end time. They check their watch, they see it's 11:45, and the party ends at midnight. Do they cry? No. They say, "I have 15 minutes left." They go find their friends, they hug them, they dance to the last song with everything they have, they finish their drink, and when the lights come on, Guest B smiles. They look at the host and they say, "Thank you, that was a hell of a time." And they walk out into the night peaceful and satisfied. Stoicism is the training that turns you from Guest A into Guest B. You cannot stop the party from ending. You cannot stop the lights from coming on. The void is waiting for all of us. But you have a choice. You can spend your remaining time terrified of the exit, or you can dance until the music stops. You can be crippled by the fear of not existing later, or you can be overwhelmed by the joy of existing now. The void is not your enemy. It is the frame that makes the picture beautiful. So here is my question to you. Since you know the end is coming, what are you going to do with the time you have left? Are you going to worry, or are you going to live? Let me know in the comments, what is one thing you would do differently today if you truly accepted that this is your only shot? Don't let the fear win. Use it. I'll see you in the next one.